Hello everyone and welcome back to Sleepy Hollow, a city with, well, stable over 10,000 people now. We're 13,000 at this moment. Quite happy they are as well. And well, we finally have some public transportation here as well. Some buses roaming the streets of Sleepy Hollow. Most of them rather completely full. Let's just check the income that we get out of this one here. So the public transportation at the moment is also netting us a bit of money there, 840, but it's also costing us 2,200. Now buses never really were meant to be profitable. At least my people should be a bit happier because of this, and also of course my students, my children that we have here in the schools and stuff like that. And it's just also lovely to watch the buses doing their daily jobs, people going back and forth, going to school, going back home, going to their workplaces with these systems that we have now in place here. Really cool. I like that. Another level of depth that my city finally has. Now, what we have here is right now a medium demand for commercial and residential zones. And we do have lots of empty space in the city, especially over here now in Grove Hills that we have, where we still have a bit of empty space here in between. And I would like to make this more dense looking. After all, it's getting, this is more or less going into the city center at some point here, right? The further we go out, the more chaotic it can be. But for city centers in general, I just really would like to have some proper dense areas. So I'm just going ahead here now. By the way, I think we do have some elevation there right now working here that I certainly don't want to have. And I just want to have another street going through this area. So let's just get cracking on this one. Another nice looking alley going all the way to that side. And from here then also a bit further up there into a cul-de-sac, most likely. By the way, I think, yep, we still have a power line here that we certainly don't need anymore. I don't think so, because we should, there it is. With the park here, we have now the power grid connection between my industrial zone and my main city, so this area here is also not needed anymore, these power cables there. Let's just get rid of them, ugly looking things anyway, and we do have a bit more space available here. I would actually like to go ahead and let's just see, let's have a smaller commercial zone than just here popping up, right? Something like that, and then perhaps also some offices in its vicinity, so that it's separating a bit the commercial zones then from my residential ones. And then I'm just going all in here with some higher density residents. By the way, you guys here, sorry, this is getting more and more into the city area. Let's actually also get rid of this one there, these lower commercials, and instead have the high density ones that I really would like to have here. So just like that. Also here a few more, and this whole bunch there you go, perhaps also these guys. And then we can just go ahead and make these the high density commercials that I would like to have in this area. Perfect. And as we can see, they're quickly growing already, and the first beautiful buildings are popping up out of nowhere, and people are moving in. After all, we got some high demand for that. It's only going to increase traffic too. We'll just see how it turns out. This avenue that we have there, this main road, is having a high capacity though, so it should be fine long-term wise as well. Very good. Actually here we do have then these big blocks at the end of it. I don't like that so much, so let's get rid of this one there and instead have some normal smaller house then here, right? So actually let's have two houses then here, so that we have some proper looking ending then also this one, right? So there we can have these lower density residents living here. That should be better, should be more natural looking overall. Perfect. So that's just growing now. Commercials is actually also pretty high demand, so we have now the zones for that. This can grow as we speak. We do have a lot of money, by the way, 148,000, and I would like to use this for something. I would like to use this for our first university and our first public library. Both of them we don't have yet, right? So there's actually 3,500 people that would like to study, and public library, there's also no uses here at the moment. Now the thing is, with universities, the higher education of my citizens is, the higher the office demand is as well. We don't have a really high office demand at this moment, more like for normal industry, right? And we can rectify this by having some more or higher education, and this way we also get these people in. Now let's just have a look where we could have that first university. I think here we have the school district that is still not finished, by the way. And I would like to use this block there that we have with the cemetery for my first higher education area. And I do have this Jubilee Hall, and that is going to be our first university building. I just like this building in general. I think it looks pretty cool. So we're just going to have this one probably somewhere here, and we'll just see how it then looks. Let's get this one on the way now here. That's 93,000, by the way, that we spent for this one. It's incredibly expensive. And there you go. It's rather naked looking. It's a beautiful building, no doubt, but it is a bit naked right now. So we're going to add some more stuff to it pretty soon. I would like to go ahead with the public library then right away. So let's just go for the next building that we need. We have 68,000 still left. So, whoa, we actually do have a lot of money. No problem. And this one cost me 27,000, and we should be able, perfect, to squeeze it in here. Right, so this is going to be our public library. Let's just see where should we have the entrance. Let's have it on the other side. There you go. Our first public library right here. This is actually not really looking great here, so I probably will need to move this a bit. Elevation is a beast in this game. If you have some elevation, it's never really going to look like that. We could actually get rid of this road here. We don't really need it, I think. Right? So let's just get this one all the way to that side. And then actually here we could have a little park, right? A little park where we also get rid of this elevation there. Let's just get rid of these buildings there. So I just need to get rid of the zone there, really. And let me just see that. We do have a couple of parks close by already. Squeezing in another park here is still totally fine, right? So let's just have a look. We could have it then all around here, taking the cemetery into its area too, plus the two universities or the public library, and also just along the school. So this is then one big beautiful park area that is taking the schools, the university, and the library into one, and that's the Smith Park. Why not? So let me just see if I can make something out of this area that we have now. Let's get started. Alrighty, and here we are now with a beautiful big park here now for my university district, or well, first education district that we have there with the schools, and then also here the university that already has 400 students almost that are coming for it, and yeah, well, some visitors for the public library there as well. And yeah, also what we can see is lots of people already in the park area itself. We got some cafes here, some pavilions where people can sit. Also, of course, they could just normally sit on the grass and stuff like that. We would have some further props that we can use here, for example, some tables and stuff like that we can add, especially here closer to the cafe that we have there. So if we add some more of them, and here in the back perhaps also, that it does, that it doesn't look so naked, right? And then some benches that we can have here, for example, another one. And stuff like that. And I'm just going to continue then expanding on these more or less as we continue then with that. By the way, here I could definitely have some of these flower beds there still. This might actually be fitting in just nicely here in this tiny area there, where we have these benches. And I definitely should probably also be careful about my anarchy that we have there at the moment. Let's rather deactivate that. It's always a very dangerous thing if you have this one activated. Let's also have a look at the fences. Well, I don't want to have too many fences in this area, to be honest. It's a public park, right? We could, for example, add a couple of them here if you want to, but nah, let's actually keep this one open for now. Speaking about the schools, I do still have this area available there for another elementary school. We have enough space to for these. High school might be possible or might be needed pretty soon. Then I don't have a small building like this one for the high school, unfortunately. I mean, actually I do, so we could squeeze it in here. There is a high school building. Unfortunately, I will need to get rid of this park entrance somehow, so we might need to move it a bit further up there. I do have that street that we could hopefully just a tiny bit extend over into this area. There you go. So just a bit. Just need to make sure that we get rid of these props there as it's still activated. And let's this is a bit tricky here now. If I want to go with this, that we could have another one, and then I'm moving a bit further over there perhaps. There you go. Of course we need to get rid of this arc street. There you go. So a nice slope up there. And this whole cafe there, it's getting a bit nasty here now because of, yeah, we need to get build that street there again. First I would like to build that school here now. There we have it. So this is the next 52,000. Oh, now only now I can see how expensive it's going to be, but it's absolutely needed. We are at a student capacity there soon, and I would really like to use this one here because then we have the elementary schools, 2 of them here, and then we have 2 high schools here. It just makes sense to me. So let's go ahead and waste our money for that, right? So that we have one of these modern blocks that we have. So we have the more or less modern elementary school and modern high school then on that. This slope there is not something I like so much, so we will have to work on that. And then I do have my park entrance on that side. So for this, I still need to kind of like work around with this problem that we have there now. Yes, I could connect it here. Perfect. So the pavilion has its connection once more. And that street here probably will need to have some adjustment there as well. I really do want to have my park area though, my park entrance here by that school. And look at that, how many people are using this gate already. Let's just see, can we upgrade that? I think it was this road there. This one, it was a normal one actually. That one there goes all the way here in the cul-de-sac. And then we have the park entrance. Then the pavilion, and then we have the restrooms. That are just going to be right here at the entrance, but that's going to be fine. And here we also have a very strange looking artifact. There you go. Looking better a bit now if we move it around. Like so. This whole street is actually not looking really great. So let's just try and make this one look great again. There you go. So this is much better because it's curvier now that we have that. And with some flower beds and some trees, this cul-de-sac actually looks a bit more natural there as well, as it just goes into this dead end then, where people can also park if they find a parking spot. So they can then also walk around in the park that we have there now, this university park. There it is. So that's that. There's the entrance then, going around in a circle there right away to my restroom, and then people can just walk around in this park. And I think it's going to upgrade them pretty soon, this park here, as there's really a lot of people that we have for the Smith Park now. Perfect. So that's that. The university is also continuing to work here, and also my public library. Meanwhile, I'd like to continue expanding a bit more. We, after all, still have a pretty high demand there for my residents as well. So once again, let's actually have some residents living then here. There we have our, well, water purification and garbage area. So I probably will have some offices along it, right? So just on the other side of the street here, Linden Street. And then we are going ahead there with a couple more residents. And then here, perfectly fine, another commercial zone that we can squeeze in. Same goes for this whole area there. Actually, let's make this one a bit more commercial. And then a few more offices just here. By the way, this one, we can still make use of another smaller street that goes in here. And then into both areas. And right in here, let's just have a couple of residents then living there. On the edges, once more, I would like to have some lower densities as well. So these are houses with gardens and stuff like that, making it a bit green, this whole area, and that's just looking then better overall. And we might actually, here in this area, since there's definitely going to be some green spots, we might actually just squeeze in some trees here and stuff like that. But let's just wait for these to grow first, and then we can add some vegetation on it later. I've got another block here. I would like to keep this one available for now. This is a nice green area that we are going to keep for this for now. We might actually make a campus area there at some point. No idea yet. I'm also glad to see that the most important infrastructure buildings are already available in my city. And I just love this high density looking American style of a city. There you go. It's still coming together. Of course, it's not always looking very, very natural when it's still growing, but we're getting there. And then there's also this whole block up in this area that we still have available there. First of all, I think, yep, the electricity has made its connection now, so we can get rid of the power cable, the power line. And then we just have this area that's still available, where I would like to add some more high density zones. So since the demand is also pretty high, we got then the industrial zone here, later on the office zone and stuff like that. So it's pretty close, also reducing commuting times. And this one I can use right away. The only thing that we should look out for is the street size. So we have only a small street here. I would like to increase that size now to a 4-lane street mostly. Or we could also make an alley out of that. But either way, I will need to get rid of some buildings around it, right? But it's no problem, really. And we just have some high density there. This cemetery, I will need to move a bit. Make up for it. Perfect, there you go. And then we can just use this one here as it continues further up to... Yeah, actually, let's make a crossing here, then again a junction, right? That continues then onwards up there. Then we have another nice triangular shaped area here where we could mirror our waste management, but I'm probably just going to have something else in here. And then we just continue with some normal streets. We have this one there that probably continues without actually ever making another junction there, as I think it's not going to be advisable to have it here. This one, and here we can actually have some pedestrian roads then that are going through that. Do we have something nice looking for that? So something with some trees around it. There you go. Something like that. Just see that we can make a proper connection here. And this goes all the way then to the other side here. Making a connection here. We will still have to work on the texture, but let's keep that road there. So that's a quick area for people to actually move through this area. And then also, of course, the pipes. One should never forget about the pipes that we're just going to have here along the street. There you go. And then we once again can have some residents living here. Let's get rid of the lower density ones. I really don't need them here anymore. So they were just there for the looks, while this area still is growing. And yeah, well, we still also have a pretty high commercial demand, which is a surprise to me, to be honest. Let's have some commercials here, and then also in that area. And this is probably all going to be for people living here. Also, we could have some, let's have a smaller office area there. Right, this one. And then it's all about residents. So we got the high density ones. Actually, let's make this whole thing here high density. Definitely these guys here still. And then we might actually make some smaller ones on that side. Right, so here in these tiny blocks, let's just see how this one looks after a while. But at least we do have some green area then here as well, just beside the cemetery. There you go. Actually, no. Let's not make this one work. There you go. It's actually totally fine to have some empty spots there in between as well, since this is not the highest density anymore. This is, after all, called the Ashlyn Harvey Street. And no idea what it specifically means, but I just know that we can keep this one empty there. Now, there we also have a nice block then, right? I can use this for bigger buildings. So I'd like to keep these areas available there for now, for bigger stuff, right? So that we don't have everything so dense and closely connected. And this will just look fine then once it's fully grown. Then we have here the main road once more. So here we can then go ahead with some commercials once more that are not there yet, and then perhaps some offices here just behind my buildings. That's going to be really dense here. It's fine. Let's have some more, and then some commercials again, and then some offices here again. Perfect. Let's also go ahead and fix this pedestrian path. As we can see, lots of people are using that, so I'm happy to see that there is a demand for it here, but we probably should use their own path for it. So we got the, actually I think with the red, oh, gravel tiny road, I like that. And we're probably going to make this one work then here. It is just on the back of it. There you go. Actually, let's make the grid work there. There you go. Going all the way to that side and then connecting here with this one. Very good. The only thing I think now is that, once again, cars like to use these areas for their own dirty purposes. And I'm just going ahead here and making this ban all vehicles in this area, right? So it's just, there's really nothing allowed here. Actually, we just need to make it at the beginning and at the end of it. So there's no cars really that like to use this one. It's a bit of a strange system there, I think, that pedestrian roads can be used by cars. No idea about that so much, but yeah. And here, let's keep this clean though, right? So there's not going to be any kind of zoning next to this road there. This is really just for pedestrians, and yeah, they like to use this one. The only thing, we should have some, well, trees around that and stuff like that. So let's just see that we get a proper tree. That's the bottom one. I love my autumn trees. The red one, the orange one, we haven't used this one quite so often. And then I'm just having this one going all the way to the other side. So this is, of course, as we can see, a man-made alley, of course, going there to the other side. And here perhaps a bit curved. Perfect. Come on, give me one more tree. There you go. Yep, there you go. There we have this. It's perhaps a bit too bright there. So in this case, we're going to wait until more buildings are popped up around it. Here, this one is probably not going to work. So let's have some. Actually, keep this one available. Should we keep this one available there? I think we can add some green stuff to it then. And this one is going to be some commercials. Then we have another smaller park there. So let's just have one more office building, and this one I like to keep available there too, just in case we do need a street or something like that going into that. Gravel Street, I like that one with the lanterns in the center of it, and people really like to use it too. So that's going to work out nicely. Plus we got the right textures at the end of it, then this is just much more natural looking. Now commercial demand is still pretty high. The residential demand is going down a bit now, thanks to having, of course, these buildings popping up. We'll just even be around that. Yeah, and I like that. So these lower density residentials here, look at that. It's just some smaller versions of the big ones, usually. And then it goes into single houses there, single family houses then at the end of it. Just here in this corner that we have, surrounded then by big buildings. Lastly, let's check the agricultural area there once more. So we got 1,300 profit out of it. I think we could actually do it with a third flour mill. The bakery is working fine too. It's actually making the most money here that we have in this area. It's also consuming quite a lot. The animal products from my small animal pasture, right? And the crops and the flour are making pastries out of it. So we could just add more to this one as we continue. And of course, I would like to use my really small country roads that we have available there. So there's another one that we could then just make do. Going over there. Oh yes, and we have one with trees around it right away. These beauties there. I like that one a lot, and we could go ahead and just upgrade these roads there to the same style, right? So that we have some proper looking country roads here with some trees around it, lots of green area then. And I only continue with this one, and then here as well at the very end of my city. And for this one, we are going to add some more of my crop fields, right? We got the pasture. Let's add a second one to this one, and actually let's add a third one. We have the money for it, and then I would like to have some more crop fields just here at the end of it and here, so that this is becoming one big field that is working together then, right? Or that is kind of like connecting. There we have this road, and then we just go ahead and have some more of these crop fields then here. Perfect. As this one is start growing. There's some water demand then, of course. Who would have thought that fields need water? There you go. You have it now. Then we have here more areas available for something else. And I probably would like to have another flour mill, to be honest. Let's add a third one to this area, since they really produce us a nice amount of money. The crops are there. The animals are there. We still have storage, right? Ooh, storage is full though. I'm going to add a few more silos then on that side. So actually, here, can we squeeze it in? Yes, we can squeeze it into this area there. So let's add some 3 silos here at the end of it, where they can store something. And then it's going to my factories. I will probably need to move these factories then at some point here, because there's going to be a roundabout. As we can see that we are going to need a roundabout for this area soon, as traffic is increasing. And this is only now my farming area that is continuing to grow. Let's also add a couple of trees and forests now, perhaps not so close to the farming area, perhaps also with a bit of less strength than overall, just some trees here and there, so that it doesn't look all naked here. Right? After all, it's a farming area. It shouldn't be too forestry and stuff like that. But we can do that here with these newly, freshly made areas. Right? We can add some more trees to this whole area to make this one look more natural and stuff. There you go. And here. Then we have some naked areas there as well, where we can add more trees. Looking fine as it is, and we continue here then in the next episode. Stay tuned.